Bungie's new game is set to release later this year, and as a longtime fan of the Destiny franchise, I could not be more excited. My personal playstyle tends to center more around slaughtering hordes of Vex in the Vault of Glass, or pistol whipping your friendly neighborhood EDZ Dreg. So it came as a surprise to me when I took interest in Bungie's new PvE extraction shooter, Marathon. Marathon is set several decades after the second entry into the original Marathon trilogy, which first released in 1994. I won't get into the lore, there's a Bife video for that, and I would not do it justice anyway. My experience with extraction shooters as a console player is limited to short spurts of playing the DMZ mode in Modern Warfare 2 for the brief time that it was alive. So I can safely say that as a genre, extraction shooters are definitely more centered around PvP, and not losing your loot to the bush camper 5 kilometers away from you that has tracked your every move and has his crosshair centered directly on your right testicle. If this kind of game sounds like a complete turn-off for you, I'm right there with you. So why the hell am I so hyped for Marathon? Simply put, my excitement comes from my faith in Bungie as a studio. Now that sentence itself makes me want to take myself out back and show a 12 gauge in my uvula, but after the release of the final shape and with Pete Parsons having an ever so large car collection, I think Bungie is honestly doing some pretty good work with the long-running Destiny franchise. That's not to say they don't have their pitfalls. Episode Echoes was alright, and I didn't even play during Episode Revenant because it was boring. So Bungie is clearly continuing the tradition of one okay content drop, followed by a shit one, followed by a great one with Episode Heresy. And no, I'm not going to mention Halo, because as far as I'm concerned, the Bungie that is in charge of Destiny today has nothing to do with the Halo series. So what does this all have to do with Marathon, you ask? Other than Bungie having made the original Marathon trilogy? Well, despite Bungie having a mediocre track record at best when it comes to the monetization strategies and storytelling of their games as a whole, there are two things that you cannot deny they've always done well: gunplay and art direction. I have never in my life looked out at a landscape in Destiny and thought it looked like shit or didn't fit the story and setting. Never once have I looked at a gun and thought about how dull or not unique the design was or how it played. Not once have I wondered why an ability looks and feels like a dookie, so long as we're excluding Nova Warp here. Whether you like Bungie or not, I think most people will agree that their games feel and look incredible, which is why I have every faith in Bungie to deliver Marathon on a silver platter for art appreciators like me to chow down like the leftover pasta that's sitting in my fridge right now. The trailers alone for Marathon are enough to have me in awe. The clean, futuristic aesthetic is contrasted by surrounding nature outside and a bleak emptiness indoors. A setting that looks like it's designed to make you feel lonely, but also eerie enough to keep you on your toes. And this all comes together in the absolute cinematic masterpiece that was the cinematic trailer. If you haven't watched that, I will link it in the description. Go watch it now. From watching the trailer and the ARGs that Bungie has been putting out for people to dig into and discover secrets about the game, I know for a fact that even if I don't like the PvP aspects of an extraction shooter, I will be too lost in the world and the story to care. I won't even try to get into the sound design as well. If you have ears, you'll fuck with every single thing Bungie has put out for Marathon, sound and music-wise. On the dark, evil, twisted side, the unfortunate reality of the games industry in this day and age is that it's oversaturated with battle passes, competitive hero shooters. Except you Marvel Rivals, I love you. Emma Frost, my DMs are open. Please follow me on Instagram. and just shitty half-baked games. So it's extremely easy and entirely valid to fall into a state of annoyance when a new game is announced by a AAA studio like Bungie. Believe me, I get it. When I heard Marathon would have named heroes that you have to choose to play, I was skeptical. But YouTubers that have been able to play the game have assured us that the hero you choose is closer to a class in Destiny. It doesn't affect gameplay outside of your playstyle and build crafting preferences, which is 100% a step in the right direction for a competitive shooter like Marathon. Gameplay in general for Marathon looks more than solid. As I said before, Bungie has always done gunplay extremely well, and in the Marathon trailers and gameplay reveals, it's never looked better to get headshot by an AI that would absolutely leak my IP on Twitter if it wasn't stuck in a Bungie game, or get walked down by Chappie after getting blasted off a roof. Considering all of this, I'm not too worried about whatever the direction is that Bungie takes with regards to Marathon's hero and ability system. At the end of the day, extraction shooters as a genre tend to have extremely dedicated player bases like that of Tarkov, or the airballs that cannot be justified. So, Marathon could do what Bungie intends to do by bringing extraction shooters into the mainstream, or it could be far less popular than is required to keep the game afloat. Whatever happens, I'll be here for it. Marathon looks like it will, at the very least, be a compelling game that gives way to more unique extraction shooters and adds some diversity to the market. And at the very best, Marathon will become a staple of modern gaming and another incredible shooter that Bungie can add to the list. Just like when Fortnite popularized Battle Royales in 2017, I truly hope Marathon is able to execute the foundations of a masterpiece that it has, and make 2025 the beginning of the extraction shooter craze. All in all, I am a PvE player at heart, and while Marathon does feature PvE content and could add more in-depth, solely PvE content in the future, that isn't what draws me to the game. Marathon has the potential to be something truly special. Something we haven't seen in the gaming industry since the release of the original Destiny in 2014, and the release of the original Halo before I was even conceived. This game has the vibes to rip apart the market like my dog when he sees a vulnerable bird. With that comes the chance to make or break Bungie, and I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds. But most of all, I can't wait to play Marathon.
So